That is the brand new Honda Shine, and believe it or not, this is Honda's first 100cc motorcycle ever since they split up with their ex-partner Hero MotoCorp. Now, of course, it did take Honda a good decade to realize that 100cc segment is where all the volumes are at, but finally they've come out with a product that seems to have all the bases covered. At least on paper, that seems to be the case. But the question is, can this motorcycle topple the evergreen, the chartbuster Splendor from the top?
Since the Shine sits at the bottom of the commuter food chain, it's a no-frills, bare-bones motorcycle. The whole purpose of this motorcycle is to provide comfort, convenience, reliability, low maintenance costs, high fuel efficiency, and simplicity to the end user. And this clearly shows in its design. It looks quite basic and ordinary. Of course, that doesn't mean it looks downright cheap, but there's hardly anything that'll make you notice this motorcycle. It's just another brick in the 100cc commuter wall. It doesn't look small or insignificant as it's 1955mm long, 1050mm tall, and 750mm wide, all of which make it only slightly smaller than the bigger Shine 125. The ground clearance is also quite decent at 168mm. The Shine 100 is meant to be an accessible and easy to use commuter for the target audience, and that is the case. The seat height is just 786mm and the motorcycle weighs all of 99 kilograms. The seating position and rider triangle is also quite relaxed as you sit upright and all the controls feel spot on. It also has a 677mm long seat that's not only wide and comfy but is also cushioned adequately, as in not too soft or too firm. If you talk about features, there's nothing to report here honestly. You get halogen lamps all around, the instrumentation is basic, featuring twin analog dials for speedo and fuel gauge along with other telltale lights. There's no start-stop system to save the last drop of fuel either. The plastic quality is again okay, but there are some rough edges in terms of overall fit and finish. However, at this price point, it's really difficult to expect a superior quality than that.
So on the mechanical front, there is nothing fancy in here because this is a bare bones basic motorcycle. So it has got a 100cc engine which is air cooled, and this produces around 7.6 bhp and 8 Newton meters of torque, just about adequate to lug you around in the city. So we just rode this motorcycle very briefly today. We were riding in a closed compound, so we couldn't really push it. We weren't in trafficy situations. But first impressions are that this engine, like every Honda, it is very refined. The gearing is spot on. It has got a 4-speed gearbox, so the gearing is spot on. It's very sleek and it feels seamless in every way. So this is a very effortless motorcycle. Even the clutch action is very light and the motor has got enough grunt. Especially we are in Ambi Valley today, so we had some uphill sections also, and I was riding 2 up. Still the motorcycle could pull and I could feel that there is decent torque and there's decent pull from the engine, so it doesn't really struggle. And if you're riding it daily, you're not going to find any problems with this engine and gearbox. Of course, we couldn't top it out, we couldn't go to high speeds, but from what I can tell you, this engine has got everything that you need in a motorcycle of this size. Now, of course, you must be wondering, what's the fuel efficiency of this motorcycle, the claimed one? Well, Honda really hasn't revealed it because they're saying they're still processing it, but you can expect a real world efficiency of over 70 kilometers from this engine. Now, it doesn't have any fancy system, it doesn't have start stop to save fuel, but this is a Honda engine, a 100cc engine, so it is going to be very frugal.
The Shine's fuel tank capacity is 9 liters, which should translate into a range of over 600 to 650 kilometers.
So this is a 100cc commuter motorcycle. So in terms of ride and handling, it is tuned towards comfort and practicality, of course. So it has got skinny tires, it has got slim forks, and it has got twin spring shocks at the back, and it has got alloy wheels, of course, and it is a very light motorcycle. It only weighs 99 kilograms, that's curb weight. So when you're riding it, it feels very light. The steering has no weight at all. It turns on a dime. It is a very quick steering motorcycle, and you'll love riding this motorcycle in the city. If you want to exploit a gap, if you're riding in the city through tight gaps, this is a motorcycle that you'll enjoy because it has virtually no weight. It's feather light and it just goes through. Now, the ride quality is really brilliant. I think it is quite plush. We are riding on bad roads, bad surfaces, and it gobbles up everything very nicely. So of course, Honda has absolutely nailed it when it comes to the comfort part of this motorcycle, and even the handling. From this motorcycle, what else can you expect? It just goes around corners, it feels light, it tips in very easily. Of course, it's not that stable if you're doing relatively higher speeds, so it does feel a little twitchy because the tires are also not that great, the grip levels aren't great, and the suspension is also tuned towards comfort, so it does feel very soft in that regard. But overall, I think for its target audience, it has got everything that you'd want from this motorcycle. This being a 100cc motorcycle, it doesn't get ABS, it has only got CBS, which is combined braking system. So if you press one or the other brake levers, as in the hand one, which is the front brake, it automatically engages the rear one. And similarly, if you just use the foot lever, it'll automatically engage the front brakes as well. So braking, I mean, it's like I said, it's just about adequate, but the brakes feel very wooden and there's not a lot of feedback. And if you're going over loose surfaces and then you brake, well, you definitely feel that, you know, there is not a lot of confidence. So again, this motorcycle is built to a cost, so you can't really expect it to have everything. So to sum it up, you have to say that the Honda Shine does everything that you'd expect from a commuter motorcycle, a 100cc commuter, and it's also got everything that you'd expect in a Honda. So it's refined, it's going to be super efficient, it's light, it's effortless to ride everywhere, and it does everything perfectly. So the basics are all sorted with this motorcycle. Plus, on top of that, it's also priced really well. It just costs 65,000 rupees ex-showroom, and this is available in a single variant. So long story short, if you are someone who wants a bare basic entry level motorcycle, well, the Splendor is not your only option. And as for Hero and Splendor, well, of course, you can't sit on your past laurels anymore, because this motorcycle is definitely going to eat into the sales pie of Splendor, and this is going to make a huge dent in Hero's monthly or even annual sales for sure.